did my speech on bedtime stories and their importance in children. When we often think about our childhood, we think about getting read a bedtime story. For me, this was a nighttime ritual. Some of my favorites were stories like Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss or The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. Every night when I was growing up, my parents would read this to me before I go to bed. These various stories would set me up for a great night's sleep, but also facilitating one-on-one time with my parents. These stories were a major part of my childhood and one I would like to pass down to my children one day. Since bedtime stories are such a critical part of my bedtime routine as a child, I see the importance in including them in all children's nighttime routines. With this, I believe bedtime stories should be a critical part of children's nighttime rituals. Bedtime stories are an essential part of children's nighttime routines because not only do they have many psychological benefits, but they promote learning development while giving kids a consistent nighttime ritual. Reading a bedtime story to a child every night is very important to their development and growth. In the article, Why Bedtime Stories Are So Important by Kirili Swartz, on average, every 6 out of 10 parents read to their child per night. According to the SLC Health as well, parents that read bedtime stories to their children enrich their children's language and development in subjects such as reading, writing, and vocab. Bedtime stories can also be an outlet for empathy for children, where stories help them connect and feel emotions such as sadness, grief, and compassion. With bedtime stories being acclimated into a child's nighttime routine, they will be able to grow in their imagination and be able to think more creatively and in depth. With bedtime stories, children grow in their education but also mature in their emotional and cognitive well-being. But bedtime stories are also important to childhood development. Bedtime stories are an essential way for children to develop mentally and grow in their intelligence. As stated by the SLC Health, bedtime stories that are read to children on a nightly basis encourage them to engage in conversation. When kids are better able to engage in conversation and communicate, they are better and more likely to bond with their parents. Bedtime stories have been proven to boost child bonding with their parents and bring parent and child closer together. Many parents nowadays believe that sticking a device in front of a child will make them happier and more content. But according to the benefits of reading bedtime stories by Lisa Salmon, the article states that children are happier when getting read a bedtime story rather than putting them in front of devices such as iPads, TVs, and iPhones. Salmon believes that it's important to encourage children to switch off their digital devices during the night and enjoy a book instead. As cited by The Independents, the book people state that 9% of children are happiest when reading rather than watching a television show or playing video games at night. This shows the importance in shutting down electronic devices at night and taking the time during the night to not only bond with your child, but to engage their minds rather than putting them in front of an electronic device. Overall, this will help children grow cognitively while also making lifelong memories between parent and child. But reading a bedtime story can also instill a consistent nighttime ritual in a child. When I was growing up, I appreciated the importance of a bedtime ritual. For my nighttime routine, I took a shower, brushed my teeth, combed my hair, jumped into bed, and had my mom read a bedtime story to me. A bedtime story was a part of my consistently orderly nighttime routine, and today helping me with being organized with my current nighttime routine. A consistent bedtime routine, especially one that contains a bedtime story, helps children transfer from a busy active day and settles them down for a healthy night's rest. For a child, this is important for end-of-the-day closure, helping kids reel in the day's events and help them relax for a restful night's sleep. According to 5 Reasons Why Bedtime Stories Are the Most Important Family Ritual by Mike Morrison, PhD, reading a bedtime story to a child assists them in feeling safe and secure, knowing that they are loved and cared for in their home. Morrison also states that bedtime stories promote healthy sleep and better dreaming, making kids happier and healthier. But not only do bedtime stories promote a healthy sleep cycle, but it teaches kids how to soothe themselves and relax. When children are put to bed at night, they usually have a tendency to cry for their parent or guardian, which in my case, I did plenty. If we allow children to soothe themselves to sleep after reading a bedtime story, this can help children be able to separate from their parents. This allows children to calm themselves down and fall asleep independently while also creating a consistent nighttime routine. Not only this, but this can help parents bond with their children through reading a bedtime story while building lifelong memories. Overall, having a consistent nighttime routine, including a bedtime story, is significant in promoting orderly and orderly nighttime routines benefiting both parent and child. Overall, since bedtime stories were such a major part of my nighttime routine as a child, I see the importance in including them in all children's nighttime routines. With this, I believe bedtime stories should be a critical part of children's nighttime rituals. Bedtime stories are an essential part of children's nighttime routines because not only do they have many psychological benefits, but they promote learning development while giving kids a consistent nighttime ritual. In conclusion, bedtime stories should be a major aspect of all children's nighttime routines, promoting growth, curiosity, and beneficial development.